Good morning. I want to give you another update on this Mustang mare Warda. And it's only been a couple of days since I did the last video. I think I've ridden her one more time since then. But I noticed something when I was watching the video, which I knew she did it, and that was that she swished her tail a lot when I was riding her at the trot. She didn't do it hardly at all when I was on the ground. So remember, I had her bitted up with the bridle, so that means the bit wasn't what's bothering her. And she was trotting around, but when I got in the saddle and was trotting her, she was swishing her tail a lot. And when a horse swishes their tail, that just means they're bothered. It's a sign that they're upset. I guess it would be similar to a person maybe having a nervous tapping of their leg, you know, or biting their fingernails, something like that. It just shows that they're nervous about something. So talk to my buddy DeLaws, who's an expert on these things, and the definition of an expert is anybody who's more than 50 miles away from home. So DeLaws definitely qualifies for that. And he suggested that I work with her tail a little bit. Now, I'm told this is something that Ray Hunt used to do with every horse, and Ray was a legendary horseman he's passed away now. But what this does is it just helps the horse relax, because a horse's spine goes from their brain all the way to the tip of their tail. So if they're tense all through their whole body. So if you see this horse swishing her tail, and that's actually better than I thought it would. I thought I'd get a little more resistance when I asked her to lift it. But to get her to do this, she's got to relax her entire spine. So watch her tail, but more than that, watch her head and her ears. Okay? And by the way, she is not tied to this portable panel. That would be a wreck. I just wrapped that rope around her a couple of times. She's not tied fast. You may have seen that internet video floating around about the guy who tied his horse to a panel. That's bad, bad, bad. Okay, so I'm just asking her to stand here because it's too muddy in the arena today. That's actually pretty good. Way better than I expected. I expected a lot more resistance from her. So I'm just doing this. I'm going to play with this for a few minutes, and then I'm going to get on her and try a couple of things while I'm riding her to see if I can get her to relax a little bit more while I'm riding her. Okay, let's walk her off here. I'm just going to walk her around here and kind of bend her. So see, she swished her tail there when I first started walking. I can kind of see her shadow there. And she does it a lot more when I'm yielding her hindquarters. So what that tells me is that she's bothered either by my leg or by the bit. Probably by my leg, because she's given to the bit pretty good, even though she's being chompy and fussy. So I don't know if you can tell, but this mare, she's all bunched up. She's not relaxed. Okay, she's nervous, and that's who she is. She's always been that way. That's not a new thing. As much as possible, it's kind of my job to help her learn to relax. To help her learn. So now she's not swishing her tail at a walk. If I'm not turning her, pulling on her, okay, so that just kind of tells me how she feels about the different things that I'm doing. If I just let her walk out here with no pressure on the bit, I'm rubbing her on her neck, then her tail's pretty quiet. Okay? And then if I just bend her here, yield her hindquarters, and walk back the other way, she gets swishy-tailed in the bend. And she kind of quiets it when I start walking. Let's see what happens if I do it the other way. Okay, good. All right. Now, she went into a trot there. I'm just going to let her. I didn't ask her to. I kind of wanted to see what she's going to do anyway. So if I just let her trot around here with no pressure on the bit. So what I'm going to, again, I won't be able to see this really until she's heading for the barn there. Hold on. I won't be able to see this till I watch the video, but I'm trying to find out what it is that causes her to swish her tail. I can see some of it with her shadow here. And here, she's really pulling hard back to the barn. So that's not something that she's actually done too much of before. So that's kind of a new thing. Okay. All right, let me see what happens if I just gently ease her into a trot here. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is when I'm not pressuring her with my legs, she doesn't swish her tail. I think that's what I'm seeing here. And this mare always feels like she's a little bronky. She always feels like she's ready to hump up, though she's only done it once, maybe twice. She feels like she's going to do it, but she doesn't do it, which I don't like that. You know, that's kind of the whole point here. I want her to relax. I want her to be okay. Right there, she said, I think I just might get a little bronky. I said, no, let's go the other way. Come on. So what I'm trying here is see right there, she felt like she was going to hump up with me. She didn't. And I can tell you for sure this mare can buck me off because she's done it. It's not what I had in mind for today. There you go, girl. My whole point is to get her to relax here. So I'm just experimenting. Does she swish her tail when I just touch the bit? And really she does, but not so much. It's mostly when I put my legs on her. There she's running for the barn. If you see me grabbing the saddle horn here, mostly that's because then I can lock those reins and she can't put her head down. That's mostly why I'm doing that. I've got my reins in my hand and I can just do it right there. There. Okay. Okay. So what I wish I had my arena today, because then I could get her in there and not have to guide her so much. I could just kind of let her go where she wants and experiment a little more. But what I'm seeing so far, and I'm interested in your comments, if you watch this and you've got some expertise that you want to share with me, I'd appreciate it. I mean, if you're just guessing, don't bother. But if you actually know something that might be helpful, what I'm seeing is when I don't pressure her, she's okay. If I'm just sitting up here like this right here, she's fine. Whenever I either try to redirect her or ask her to do something she doesn't want to do, that's when she gets swishy-tailed. And that kind of makes sense. As I mentioned, this is a very strong-willed horse, kind of tough-minded kind of horse. She kind of likes doing her own thing. She's not much into anybody else's thing. She is relaxing a little bit now. She was pretty tense there for a while. Okay. Now I'm just going to do some real tight yielding here. Yield her hindquarters. Bring her around here. Bump her pretty hard with my inside leg. And I did ride this mare with spurs for a while, and she was okay with it. I'll probably go back to it at some point. The more I push, see, the more upset she gets. Okay? Doesn't surprise me. So she's swishing pretty hard right there. I'm just touching her in the flanks with my foot, not really pushing too hard.